Competent communication is very hard to come by in this day and age, though there are many aspects that form a competent communicator. Communication is important for everyday life, and many people are very skilled at it, while others need some help. There are also some major flaws in communication now that media has gotten so involved in our lives. The first is miscommunication. This can happen for many different reasons and can cause a lot of issues in today's society. The lack of communication at an early age or negative feedback for communicating when young can also cause a communication anxiety called communication apprehension. Finally, all of these, if handled correctly, can lead you to being a leader of some sort. If you are able to overcome all, can become a leader in everything you do. The first major issue is miscommunication. This happens a lot on social media, where social media hinders our communication with others, according to Seiler, Beale, and Mazur textbook, section 3.2. This happens a lot with spelling errors or emotion gaps where you're not quite sure how somebody is trying to portray what they said. This also happens with long response times because you're not quite sure why the response time is so long. With experience, this can change your opinion, but may not stop miscommunication from happening. It may prevent it sometimes, but understanding it can inhibit communication altogether. There's also another form of miscommunication through news outlets on social media, according to Serena Branda, who is a trustee of Boston University. This happens a lot during natural disasters or major impacts to the earth. This happens because of people turning towards social media where they end up spreading misinformation on accident. People even turn to social media with complex, controversial questions, and that can amplify miscommunication because a lot of the point is lost in the delivery. There's also the lack of civility on social media. This separation from computer or phone to other space causes an exposure to uncivil comments online. Civility decreases even more when posting from mobile devices, which is most of the American population today. This can end in somebody blocking somebody else, or even worse, reporting their comment, trying to get them kicked off of social media, which is not the original plan. The second major issue that we will discuss is communication apprehension. This is a major issue because this is when people decide to remain silent because the disadvantages outweigh the gain that they would get from communicating with others, according to Seiler, Beale, and Mazur textbook 10.1. This is the individual level of fear or anxiety associated with either real or anticipated communication with another person or persons. This happens a lot from early childhood if you were not encouraged to communicate with others or were punished and learned that it was undesirable for you to communicate with others. This makes you avoid communication, and when other people say things such as, "Cat got your tongue," or "Are you afraid to talk?" it may further your fear and perpetuate your feeling of inadequacy and fear of communication. Other major causes of this issue are low intellect, speech deficiency, introversion, alienation, anxiety, low self-esteem, and ethnic divergences of communication norms, where the languages change from place to place where you're at, according to ericdigest.org, which is from Eric Clearinghouse on reading and communication skills. Though, if you can overcome both of these issues, it may lead to you being a leader of a group or team. The leader is at the center of the group and is identified by a title such as manager, president, or teacher, or many others. But just because you're stated as a leader doesn't mean you have leadership skills, according to Seiler, Beale, and Mazur textbook 16.2. Your abilities do not decide how the group does fully. It's part of how the group ends up doing as a leadership abilities, but not all failures are the leader's fault. They must pay attention to the objectives, assess the needs such as task needs or maintenance needs in the group, and balance out the team. They must address negative behaviors that may impact their group dynamics. According to Crow Associates Ltd., who have over 20 years experience in the communication world, there are many different kinds of leaders. One is autocratic. Those are people who impose their views on others and pass judgment on others just based on a few things that they've seen. The next is the peacemaker, who supports decisions of others and avoids unpleasant feelings and avoids giving negative feedback. Therefore, they keep the peace in the group. The Third is laissez-faire. These are people that lack involvement, do not initiate any kind of activity, and just mostly sit back and let everybody else deal with the work. The final one is democratic. This is somebody who includes everybody in the decisions, is open to criticism and feedback, and even problem solving with conflicts. Communication is important in everyday life, though many issues can inhibit our communication with others. Still, working to communicate competently every day is important. Many issues, including miscommunication, communication apprehension, and many other problems, cause us to not be competent communicators. But by working hard, we can all lead to a better tomorrow by gaining leadership abilities by communicating every day.